He came searching for me. He came searching for me.
Years ago, we were in revival services at our church, and Brother Mark Pryor was the evangelist. He was there preaching for us. He started asking a few questions of the people in the crowd to make some points. I was sitting there, my dad was sitting there, my whole family, a lot of people there in the church. Like I said, a full house. He asked this question. He said, if God's ever delivered you from alcoholism, I want you to stand right now. My dad stood up along with multiple other people in the congregation whom God had delivered. He said, you see these people, they've been delivered, and God delivered them, and God can deliver you if you're battling these addictions. He said, okay, sit down. He had them sit down. He said, now let me ask you this question. How many of you in this congregation have ever been bound by nicotine addiction? You wanted to be free, you asked God to set you free, and He did. Would you stand up? Again, my dad stood up along with multiple people there. Had them sit down again. He said, one last thing. He said, if you've ever been bound by a drug addiction, you've been addicted to some illicit drug or some substance abuse, and God delivered you, would you stand? My dad stood up along with multiple others. And he went on to preach how God could deliver and how God could save and set free. But the rest of the church service, all I could think about was how I was sitting in that service with my dad, and I didn't stand up for a single thing. Never been addicted, never had any kind of drug abuse. And it dawned on me in that service that because my dad stood up years ago, and I didn't have to stand up that day. And I was kept from all of that because of some stands that he had made, and he protected our home and protected our house. Wouldn't let things like that come in. And very next day at work, God dropped that song in my spirit, and that's where the song came from. Matter of fact, I came back to the revival service the next night, and I told Brother Pryor, I said, man, God gave me a song based on what happened last night. And he said, well, you need to sing it. And I said, now? And he's like, yeah, sure, get over there. Those guys can learn it. And sure enough, we just got it together real quick, and I sang the song that night. I mean, man, the place exploded. And it was the first time I'd ever sang it, and it probably wasn't very good, but we made it. He stood up and prophesied to me when he took the pulpit that night. He said, Jason, he said, that song's going to be heard from coast to coast. He said, it's going to bless people's soul when they hear it. That was probably 15 years ago. And it's amazing that I've got one song that I wrote on this first record, and it was He Stood Up. So it was kind of a prophecy, I guess, that came to pass. So it means a lot to me to have this song on there. And but it means even more to me, the story behind the song, He Stood Up.
He came searching for me.